Welcome to Keep It Civil with me, Winston Pagliaro. Today I'll be walking through the highly anticipated DWG Migration for Docs tool, formerly known as the Data Migration tool. We'll step through the migration of a small project, and along the way, I'll point out nice features of this tool, as well as best practices that I recommend when using it that will be especially important for larger projects. First things first, it's available on the Autodesk App Store, and after installing, you should see the shortcut to launch on your desktop. I'll launch the app, and you'll see that it's got a similar theme as the Home tab in AutoCAD or Civil. Up at the top, you'll see two locations it's prompting you to fill in. The first is the location of the project you're trying to migrate, whether it be your company's network, OneDrive, wherever. But you only get one location, and that leads us to best practice number one. Consolidate your project files. If your references and templates are spread out over multiple drives, it's not going to like that. The second location is where you want your project to land in Docs. If you don't have a folder ready, you can create one here, but you will need sufficient permissions to upload files to that location. To highlight a point later on, I'm giving this folder a ridiculously long name. You can also exclude file types in your project from migrating. Now that we have those two locations set, I want to give you a brief tour of the project I'm uploading for context. There's an Excel data link, a sheet set, two plan sheets, some custom company content like a line type, subassembly files, pipe and pressure network catalogs. There's my data shortcut folder, and a few drefs and xrefs. Most of those 800 or so files are from the pipe and pressure catalogs. Other than that, this is a very small project. I'll click Next to move into the data integrity section of this tool. At the bottom, you can see the tool is scanning the files, so expect some lag here for large projects. Now that we're done scanning, let's look at the identified issues. Firstly, the status. We can see that the orange exclamation mark needs resolution. I will not be able to migrate this project until I address these. In contrast, the blue circle is informational. I can migrate with those issues, but it is recommended that you at least review them first. Let's dive into each of these issues by clicking on the magnifying glass. One thing I love about this tool is that if you hover over the question mark in the top left, you get more information about the issue and recommendations on how to fix it. Remember that ridiculous folder name I entered before? Well, that's pushing some of those pipe network files over the Windows character limit. Let's head back to the issues list to take a look at some others. Circular references. Again, I can get more information by hovering over the question mark, and if you select the name of the file itself, you can generate a reference dependency map that can be exported as an image and shared with designers if needed. Back to the issues list again to take a look at related data. Remember when I said that all project files should be consolidated? Well, here's an example of what can happen if that's not done. Back to the issues list again to take a look at unsupported files. Here I see that some of the file types in the pipe network catalog aren't fully supported in Docs. Again, the helpful question mark icon lets us know that there is a list of supported file types in Docs that we can reference. Before we head back to the first step to correct that silly folder name, I want to mention the Rescan button. You can have your AutoCAD application open at the same time as this migration tool. So if you want to make a data integrity improvement in the product, you can do that and then rescan the project here. Now back to the first page, and I'll choose a shorter folder name to correct the character limit issue. I'll also uncheck the pipe and pressure network catalogs since some of those file types weren't supported. Back on the data integrity page, I'll fix the related data issue by checking the file name, clicking Resolve, and specifying where it should end up once in Docs. I'm leaving the circular reference unresolved. It's comprised of a corridor drawing overlaying a pipe network drawing and vice versa, which is on purpose. So I'm going to leave it be. Let's pause here to discuss best practice number 2. You'll notice that it wasn't too bad to resolve that one issue and pick a shorter folder name. But imagine you had hundreds of integrity issues to fix. And we've already seen that scanning a project with a large number of files can take a long time. The more of these issues you can address beforehand, the more time you'll save during the migration in this app. Sometimes that means adjusting your company's folder and file naming conventions to meet the Windows restriction. Or it might mean you pick some files to run through Desktop Connector's Reference Explorer to check for missing references or unconsolidated reference pathing beforehand. If you're unfamiliar with that tool, I'll leave a link in the description. Now back in the migration tool, I'm going to start the upload, which should trigger some Desktop Connector actions as those files are copied. And while we wait, this is a good time to discuss our final best practices. Best practice number 3 is to avoid having other actions running while you do this migration. There's no need to stress the connector more than you need to. And best practice number 4 is adequate C drive space. The connector temporarily caches files there, so you need at least twice as much free space as the project you are uploading. And lastly, best practice number 5 is regarding drawing hygiene. If you've got file sizes that are bloated because of excess proxy objects, reg apps, legacy styles, whatever it may be, take the time to run your project through the batch save utility, which comes with a cleanup script. This is especially important for larger projects where we are already going to be taxing the connector. It looks like it's finished migrating, and once it's done, you can export those results to a CSV file for reference. The last thing I want to show y'all is what I consider a current limitation. I'm going to browse and open up a data shortcut file that's been migrated to show you that the file paths of the shortcuts have not been updated. You can see that they're still pointing to the OneDrive locations, not docs. You can use the data shortcuts editor to clean up those paths in bulk, or you can correct them inside Civil one by one. Well, that's all I've got for you today. Here's a recap of the best practices, and thank you for watching.